Two iconic franchises, two iconic voices, Pat Summerall, John Madden. San Francisco and Chicago, 57 degrees in Chicago in December. Unbelievable as we get set for kickoff. Kyle Shanahan, the second youngest coach in the NFL behind Sean McVay. John Fox, the fifth oldest coach in the NFL. And it will be Jimmy Garoppolo time to start as Chicago won the toss. They have deferred, so the 49ers get the football first, and Garoppolo, his first start as a member of the 49ers organization. As you know, grew up about 30 miles from here in Soldier Field in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And the punter, Pat O'Donnell, will boot it away, with Victor Bolden back deep for San Francisco. Week 13 of the NFL on CBS. We're underway from Soldier Field. It is a touchback. And Jimmy Garoppolo will get the ball at the 25-yard line. Traded from New England to San Francisco on October 30th for a second-round draft pick. Just his third career start. He made two last year with the Patriots.
And he told us that he got that call at 8 o'clock and was on a 6 a.m. flight the next morning.
He will have right tackle Trent Brown to protect him. Brown did not play last week because of a shoulder injury, and Louis Murphy caught the touchdown from Garoppolo on the final play of the game last week in the loss against Seattle. Jimmy Garoppolo, 96 pass attempts without an interception to begin his career. Throwing on first down, incomplete, high over the head of Louis Murphy. As we take a look at the Chicago defense, Akeem Hicks leads the way for the Bears with 7 sacks on the season. We mentioned it in our open, but Danny Trevathan back at linebacker. That's a nice addition for Chicago. He missed the last 3 games with a calf injury. And in the secondary, Chicago has 4 defensive backs inactive today because of injury. Chris Prosinski signed on Thursday. He starts at safety. As Carlos Hyde takes the toss, and not much doing. It'll be third down and long for San Francisco. Sam Acho in on the tackle.
And also right in the middle of that mix was Danny Trevathan. That defensive line really shields him well so that the center or the guard who's assigned to try and get off and block him, they don't get to that second level very often.
We expect San Francisco to take a lot of time on offense today. As we told you in our open, Jimmy Garoppolo still learning Kyle Shanahan's language. By the time Kyle sends in the play to Jimmy and then he relays it to his team, you're going to see the play clock dwindling down a few times today as Garoppolo throws, and it's caught by Marquise Goodwin for a first down. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line with Prosinski on the tackle, a gain of 15.
Now, it might just look like a gain of 15, but Marquise Goodwin is trying to drive the cornerback off, and that ball is thrown on a line with great velocity, good location. The zip coming out of there is just about perfect.
Goodwin, the team's leading receiver, with a career-high 578 yards receiving. First down and 10. Here is Matt Breida, and Breida cuts back at the 45 and takes it out to the 48-yard line, a gain of 8 for the rookie out of Georgia Southern.
One of the things that you want when you toss that ball, you're expecting the defense to flow as fast as they can to the side, and when they do that, you're going to get that cutback lane right down the middle.
A lot of confidence here with Garoppolo running the no huddle. Hands it off to Breida again, right up the middle, and the tackle is made at midfield, right at the chains. Eddie Goldman in on the stop, and Ed Hockley, the referee today, signals it is a first down.
Well, we talked to Kyle Shanahan, and he has that script of the first 24 plays that he's going to run on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 7 or less. So those plays they've practiced, they've walked through. Jimmy Garoppolo has taken mental reps on them, so he should be real efficient in the 1st and 2nd down passing plays.
From midfield, 1st and 10, play action. Garoppolo on the move, completes it to Kyle Juszczyk, and he's got another San Francisco first down. Eddie Jackson on the tackle. But an impressive start to this opening drive for San Francisco, a gain of 16. Now, Garoppolo grew up in Arlington Heights, 27 miles from Soldier Field. He played collegiately at Eastern Illinois in Charleston, Illinois, which is 188 miles south of Soldier Field. He's got a lot of family and friends in attendance. You see the Jimmy Garoppolo jerseys. He said when he landed yesterday, it was so surreal to see so many things that he was familiar with growing up, as Hyde is pushing the pile forward. And it'll be second and short for San Francisco.
It's interesting, in his career in New England, he'd never been in this stadium as a professional player, so this is his first opportunity as a professional in the stadium.
And Garoppolo said even though he was a Bears fan growing up, he said his dad, the whole basement was full of Bears memorabilia. He had never been to a game as a fan in this stadium. After a gain of 7, it's second down and 3.
He's audibleizing. We ought to get a shot of Kyle Shanahan's face to see if this is okay.
Play action. Garoppolo completes it to the tight end Garrett Selleck, and that's another San Francisco first down. Christian Jones on the tackle, a gain of 8.
Look at Garoppolo in the pocket. Do you see a Bear pressuring him? If I were a Chicago Bear, I thought, okay, this team is going to come in, they're going to run the ball, he doesn't know all the pass plays. The defensive line has been just stagnant at the line of scrimmage and allowing him time in the pocket, and you allow somebody time in the pocket, they're going to find somebody in the same colored jersey that they have on.
Ninth play of the drive. Garoppolo 3 out of 4. Hyde juggled it and a loss on the play. Nick Kwiatkowski brings down Carlos Hyde.
You want accuracy as a passer and accuracy as a tosser, and this ball is accurate. But I think for Carlos Hyde, he has his eyes on the defense, trying to figure out, okay, where are they? Which linebacker's about to shoot the gap? If you're getting that toss play, you got to make sure that you catch it cleanly so that you can just take off and run.
A loss of 7, so it's second down and 17. Garoppolo in the shotgun. Play clock at 4. Garoppolo, good protection. Now on the move, rolling right. And Garoppolo decides to keep it, and he runs out of bounds inside the 20, and then a late hit. Roy Robertson Harris with a very unnecessary shot, a bad penalty against the first-year player out of UTEP.
When you're on that sideline, you're protected the minute you step out. Jimmy Garoppolo steps out. He's on the chalk. He's on the white. You've got to lay off.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 95. Late hit out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Now, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo running down his sideline. Before the ball was snapped, Kyle Shanahan had taken off, and he was running down the sideline. He was trying to get a timeout called. Probably glad he didn't get that timeout call with the result of the play and the penalty.
And Kyle Shanahan told us in our meeting last night they're going to use all their timeouts today. He said the big question is when there's confusion and we're out of timeouts, then what happens? But Kyle Shanahan said he's not going to be afraid to call timeout. Penalty moves the ball down to the 9-yard line. First and goal. Garoppolo fires, broken up. Nice defensive play by Kyle Fuller.
Just a little late. He waited for his tight end to come out of the break as opposed to anticipating that break and throwing it, because the field shrinks. See the tight end take about his 4th step? He needs to get that ball as soon as he makes that turn and really sprint out of that break. The ball's on target, but Kyle Fuller makes just a better play because he's able to drive on it because the ball's not thrown with anticipation.
12th play of the drive, second and goal. Garoppolo hands it off to Hyde. He's got the 5. Flag is down, and Hyde is down at the 4-yard line. Prosinski on the tackle, but we await the call from Ed Hockley.
It looked like Lamar Houston, number 99, might have been tackled by Trent Brown, the right tackle.
Houston just rejoined Chicago this week after he was waived by Houston.
Holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's on the right tackle, Trent Brown.
There it is right there. He has them, and he has them locked up for the run to come inside, but once the run bounces outside, he still has them, and Lamar Houston does a nice job in just throwing himself and his weight to the ground so that the officials can say, okay, yeah, you were being held on that play.
10-yard penalty pushes the ball back to the 19 for second and goal. Garoppolo looking right. A shovel pass to Hyde inside. And a good job by the Bears. Danny Trevathan in on the tackle. It'll be third and goal from the 15-yard line.
Well, that's a nice job by Carlos Hyde because he has to block first. He's going to pick up the blocker, and then he bounces off of him. He tries to get it inside, but there's not enough real pass rush coming up the field. The defensive line, they did a nice job at kind of figuring out that the offensive line were just trying to bait him into rushing hard up the field.
The Bears defense trying to hold San Francisco to a field goal attempt. Third and goal.
Only a three-man pass rush.
Garoppolo was looking for the screen. It wasn't there. Now he throws it incomplete. Hyde could not get a handle on it, and a flag comes in late.
Yeah, you've got offensive linemen who are downfield because the timing of that screen was thrown off. As soon as that timing is thrown off, Garoppolo has to realize, I've got to run the ball because if I throw it, we're going to get an illegal offensive lineman down the field.
There are two flags down, one on each side of the field.
Some of those linemen were open, though. I mean, they were wide. Nobody's covering them when they go down the field.
Hey, Joe Staley does have 2 career receptions. The left tackle now in his 11th year.
They're talking to John Fox because he wanted to move it back and give him third down again or take a fourth down here. Let's just take the fourth down.
They will decline it.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Ineligible receiver downfield by the offense, number 63. There was also pass interference offense, number 11. Those penalties are declined. Brings up fourth down.
That's not fouls by both teams.
No.
That's 2 fouls on one team. And the Chicago Bear fans are going, what? What is that?
So it sends out Robbie Gould, who spent 11 seasons as a member of the Bears. He gets a real nice hand from the fans here at Soldier Field. His first game back in Chicago since the Bears released him in September of 2016. A 33-yard attempt, and Bears fans have seen Robbie Gould knock him through many times. He does here for the 49ers. They take a 3-0 lead. Good start for Jimmy Garoppolo. 4 out of 7, 43 yards. He also had an 8-yard run. Leads to a field goal. And San Francisco has a 3-0 lead. Rare error for the 49ers. They have trailed in 62% of the minutes they've played this season, third most in the NFL. So a rare early lead for the 49ers. Tariq Cohen back deep to return the kickoff. This will be a touchback. So Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears offense get the ball at the 25-yard line. Trubisky, the number 2 overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, and on the season, this will be his 8th start, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. His left guard, Josh Sitton, was questionable with a concussion. He cleared protocol. He does get the start today, and expect to see a lot of Jordan Howard, who was really bottled up by the Eagles last week. 7 carries for just 6 yards. There's Dowell Loggins, the offensive coordinator, who was the quarterback coach for Kyle Shanahan in Cleveland in 2014 when Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. It's Howard up the middle, and Howard picks up 3 yards. As we take a look at the starting defense for San Francisco, Solomon Thomas, their first-round pick out of Stanford, has 2 sacks on the season. Reuben Foster, another rookie, NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month for November. That was announced this week. And in the secondary, Akello Witherspoon was questionable with an ankle injury, but he will start today for defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. 2nd down and 7. It's Howard again, trying the right side. Howard runs out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down for Chicago with 7.5 to go in the first quarter.
One of the things when you watch Howard, his ability even on that last play, didn't gain a lot of yardage, but you don't always anticipate the speed that he has where he's able to bounce it out and really go after it.
Bears were 3 of 13 on third down a week ago in the loss against the Eagles. This is third down and 8. Trubisky. And he goes down. Brought down by Brock Coyle, the fourth-year man out of Montana, and a 3-and-out by the Bears.
You got to give that sack to Elvis Dumervil. That's number 104 and a half.
You're right. The 0 and the 8 fooled me. That's his team.
Well, he's so fast, the numbers blur.
That's right. At 33 years old, he got back there fast. 5.5 sacks now for Dumervil on the season as O'Donnell punts it away and Trent Taylor, the return man. Taylor with some room to run at the 40, and Taylor is tackled at the 46-yard line. So good field position for the 49ers. A return of 19 by Taylor.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart. And by the 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Jimmy Garoppolo played quarterback for Eastern Illinois from 2010 to 2013. Our colleague, Tony Romo, and Saints head coach Sean Payton also played at Eastern Illinois. Garoppolo, 118 touchdown passes in his career, first in school history, as Carlos Hyde's trying to reverse field, and Hyde is brought down for a gain of 2.
Now, there's another quarterback that they left off that list. Mike Shanahan was also a quarterback at Eastern Illinois. Maybe he didn't play, got injured very early in his career, but that's why Kyle Shanahan is here. So he's part of that Eastern Illinois tree also.
Man, Kyle told us that his dad, Mike, longtime NFL coach, has all the equipment in his house to watch film of the 49ers. Said they talk once or twice a week just to kind of, bounce some things off dad.
Sure.
And there are the parents of Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers out on the left. That's his father, Tony, who's celebrating his birthday today, and his mom next to him, Denise, making the short drive from Arlington Heights. His Hyde is bottled up again. Fuller and Akeem Hicks in on the tackle, and it's third down and long.
And when you're an outside receiver and you're supposed to block the first force, you're normally coming in to get the safety, and that's what Louis Murphy did. What he did, Kyle Fuller, that's called replacing the guy who's getting cracked on. Crack and replacing. Great job by Kyle Fuller to come up and stop that play on the edge.
Five minutes to go in the opening quarter. It's third down and 9 for Garoppolo and the Niners. Good protection, Garoppolo over the middle, and the pass is taken away by the Bears, and Kyle Fuller. At first it looked like a catch. Instead, it's Bears football.
Every turnover is automatically reviewed, and Louis Murphy got up. He's pointing to the ground. He felt like he had the ball in his hands on the ground, and that's when Kyle Fuller took it away. He's down, but Kyle Fuller pulls it out right before Louis Murphy's hip hits the ground. So you've got to have a strong grip, and in that instance, it looks like Kyle Fuller had the stronger of the two grips.
It would be the first interception of Jimmy Garoppolo's career and the first interception of the season for Kyle Fuller. Ed Hockley just announced that the call on the field stands.
And the ruling stands as called. First down, interception.
So after 103 passes to start his career without an interception, number 104 for Garoppolo is picked off by Kyle Fuller.
And it's a fantastic job by Kyle Fuller. Ball slightly behind Louis Murphy where he has to reach back and try and pull it in. And like I said, you've got to have a strong grip. And that time, the stronger grip went to Mr. Fuller.
So it's the second drive for the Bears. They went 3 and out on their opening possession. Trubisky in the shotgun. He fires complete to Dontrell Inman for a Bears first down. We go back to New York, an NFL Today update with JP and Boomer.
21-yarder from McCown. The Matt Forte sets this up. We got a track meet developing up here at MetLife Stadium. 14-7 Chiefs. You can see right there, Powell goes in. Alex Smith, 5 for 5, 111 yards and 2 touchdown passes to Travis Kelce. Chiefs win, leading 14-7.
Back to Andrew Catalan.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. On 1st and 10, Jordan Howard is brought down by Reuben Foster, who is playing in just his 6th game of the season, missing time with a high ankle injury and then a rib injury. But when healthy, as we saw in November, 30 tackles in 3 games, the rookie of the month.
I talked to Johnny Holland, his linebacker coach, on the field before the game. He said he's so excited for him to finally be healthy, to be in, doing all the things he's doing. He said he is going to be a heck of a player going forward.
2nd down and 8. Bears keep it on the ground here. And Tariq Cohen with a short gain. It'll be 3rd down for Chicago.
There's another tackle by Fuller, just filling that gap, that quickness, that burst. You know, that's normally the adjectives that we use when we talk about running backs, but if you are a good linebacker, you need that same short area quickness. You need the great vision to find where the hole is opening up that running back on your opposite end is trying to get to.
So a 3rd down and 7 for the Bears with 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Daniel Brown goes in motion. Movement on the line. Looked like Dumervil jumped. There's a free play for the Bears, and it's incomplete, nearly intercepted by K'Wan Williams, but it does look like Dumervil, who had the sack on the previous 3rd down, came across too early.
When you get that free play.
Offside, defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
And you know it, Andrew. You, I, everybody at the picnic knows that's when you throw it deep. You don't throw the 8-yard out right there. You take it, you chunk it down the field, the same way that you would do when you have, the 12th guy running off the field. You take that shot because it is essentially a free play. And a free play, I want all the lottery money. I just don't want to pick 3.
3rd down and 2 after the penalty, and the pass is caught for a 1st down. Kendall Wright reels it in. Tight coverage by K'Wan Williams, but a gain of 11.
That was tighter than tight coverage. He's all over his back. The ball is thrown on in line, nice and low. The runner is running through the catch. The defender's there to try and rip the ball out. And you see Garoppolo or Mitchell Trubisky with those eyes just focused in on his receiver.
And then Williams hobbled off the field for San Francisco on 1st and 10. It is Howard with some room. Howard at the 15 and down at the 13-yard line. Eric Reed makes the tackle, but not before Howard picks up 14 yards.
We talked about Reuben Foster, the middle linebacker. That time it was 1-for-1. He went with the lead blocker and kind of almost gave himself up right there. That's not Eric Reed. He's going to come in and he's going to give himself up to the fullback. And when he does that, the play's over. The runner goes right by him, and you've got to be able to use the proper shoulder. You see him. He levels the fullback, but there's a huge hole. So you've got to be able to defeat the blocker and get to the runner.
That's Williams that the 49ers training staff is looking at on the sideline. 1st and 10 from the 17. Trubisky flips it to Howard. And this time Howard is tripped up. It was Adrian Colbert, the rookie safety, who made the tackle. This is just the 21st time that the Bears have been in the red zone this season, fewest in the NFL.
And that was one of those options without the quarterback optioning it down the line. He never froze the outside defender on the line of scrimmage or made that defender come at him. So it was really a no play for Jordan Howard because he had a tackler right in his face as soon as he got the pitch.
You saw the Bears, they're 6th in the NFL in touchdown percentage at 60%, but only been down here a few times. 2nd down and 10. That pass is caught by Deion Sims at the 9-yard line. Reuben Foster with another tackle. And it's 3rd down with 35 seconds to go in the 1st quarter.
Dante Johnson is down on one knee. He was part of that sandwich collision right there.
Take a look at this, some of the numbers for the Bears offense this season. last in several big categories, including, as we mentioned at the bottom there, red zone drives.
So what you're telling me, there's room for improvement.
There is. Dante Johnson remains on a knee. Will step aside here late in the first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Macy's. And by FedEx. Sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager.
Dante Johnson walked off under his own power. Greg Mabin replaces him at corner for 3rd down and 5.
And they've got 3-by-1 up here, so it's 1-on-1 at the bottom.
Trubisky looking that way, fires end zone, caught! Touchdown, Dontrell Inman! Working on Mabin, who just came in for the injured Dante Johnson, and the Bears take the lead.
At practice Friday, we saw this pass thrown in the individual period, in the 7-on-7 period, and in the team red zone period. So this is a ball that they threw over and over and over again. So practice, practice, practice equals touchdown on Sunday.
Inman's first touchdown as a member of the Bears. This is his 4th game after being acquired in a trade with the Chargers. An 8-play drive, and now Cairo Santos comes on for the extra point. He did not handle the opening kickoff. He's been trying to get stretched out on the sideline. He does knock the extra point in, and it's 7-3. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Mitchell Trubisky 4 out of 4 for 37 yards on that drive. The touchdown to Dontrell Inman. First time this season Trubisky has thrown a touchdown out of the shotgun formation, and he went right at the replacement for Dante Johnson. Greg Mabin, the rookie out of Iowa, had the coverage on the touchdown. And it's O'Donnell, the punter, not the kicker, Santos, to boot it away. Here's Victor Bolden on the return. Bolden at the 20, and he's tackled at the 24-yard line. Thursday, it's an NFC South showdown. New Orleans takes on Atlanta. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. So 2 seconds to go in the first quarter. Garoppolo, 4 out of 8, 43 yards, and the interception. Kyle Shanahan, the 4th San Francisco coach in the last 4 years. He did sign a 6-year contract along with general manager John Lynch. Play action. Garoppolo over the middle. It's caught by Goodwin. And Goodwin is tackled at the 45-yard line. A gain of 20, and that's the end of the first quarter, with the Niners trailing the Bears 7-3. Start of the second quarter in Chicago, and bad news on the injury front for the Bears. Pernell McPhee, their starting outside linebacker, questionable to return with a shoulder injury, watching from the sideline without a helmet. It's an area where the Bears are a little thin, as Isaiah Irving went on IR this week and they cut Howard Jones. 1st and 10 to start the second quarter. Garoppolo to the air, and it's caught by Trent Taylor. Taylor inside the 40 and hit hard by Eddie Jackson. But Jimmy Garoppolo, outside of that interception, has looked good in his first start as a Niner.
And even the interception was a ball that was thrown on target. It just was taken away from Louis Murphy by a fantastic play by Kyle Fuller. A little bit behind, but Louis Murphy gets his hands on it, starts to pull it down, and Kyle Fuller wins the tug-away battle.
But the Niners are on the move here. 1st and 10 from the Chicago 38-yard line. Garoppolo in the shotgun, looking to throw again. Over the middle, and it's caught by Selleck for another first down. Beautiful toss from Garoppolo, and he gets 22 more yards.
You talked about Pernell McPhee coming out, but Sam Acho, Lamar Houston, and Dan Trevathan, the linebackers, all get sucked up on that underneath route, and then the second level right behind them in front of Chris Prozinski, who joined the team this week. You know, he's been there in the past, but right in the middle of the field, you've got a lot of players who have not had a lot of playing time together.
Garoppolo already with 4 completions of at least 15 yards, and on this drive, he's 3 for 3 for 59 yards. In the red zone on 1st and 10, it's Hyde, and Hyde picks up a couple. Jonathan Bullard, one of the tacklers for the Bears.
You know, when you think about game plans, we talked about those scripted plays, 1st and 10, 2nd and 7 or less, those 24 that Kyle Shanahan likes. And then you move more into situational football, all your 3rd down packages. And then the red zone, which they're in right now, is a whole different animal. And you normally only practice that for about 6 to 8 plays on Friday. So this is all new for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Marquise Goodwin in the slot. Garoppolo looking his way. Now turns the other way, chased and throws, and the catch is made, but out of bounds was Louis Murphy, so it's 3rd down.
Well, that's a dangerous pass. You spun out of the pocket. You're now moving to your left, and you don't have a lot of momentum to get behind this throw, but it's still close to being on target. Louis Murphy just had not enough room on the sideline to be able to come down with that ball in bounds. There's old Doug Plank. I remember him. I thought he was going to hit me when I walked by him coming up the stands.
Average 3rd down distance for San Francisco so far is 10 yards. This
Kyle
is 3rd and 7.
Is stalking the sideline, maybe about to call timeout.
5 on the play clock. Garoppolo throwing right. It's caught by Hyde, but he's tackled short of the 1st down by Kyle Fuller. And once again, Shanahan sends out his kicker, Robbie Gould.
No, this is a big hit, but a good clean hit. Did you see Kyle Fuller turn his shoulder so he made sure that he wasn't leading with the helmet, and the target area below the shoulders, not in the head and neck area? So smart play by Kyle Fuller to turn his body just enough where he could still impact a forceful blow to get Carlos Hyde to the ground.
28-yard field goal attempt for Gould, trying to go 2 for 2 in his return to Chicago, and he does just that. He was named one of the captains today by head coach Kyle Shanahan, and his field goal cuts the deficit down to 1. Just an amazing December day here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Temperature approaching 60 degrees. Jimmy Garoppolo is 8 out of 13 for 106 yards and an interception, a 7-6 game, with Bradley Pinion kicking it away, and it will be a touchback. Now, before the game, Eric Reed continues to protest. He took a knee during the anthem, and he was joined by Eli Harold and Marquise Goodwin. Earlier this week, Reed ended his involvement with the Players Coalition. He said he didn't think it was the right level of communication, and we met with him yesterday. He said, I thought I could help, but the actions the Players Coalition were taking didn't reflect how I felt. He didn't like that Colin Kaepernick, a good friend of his, was not involved with the Players Coalition, and you saw his cleats. They are Kaepernick's Know Your Rights camp, which raise awareness on higher education, self-empowerment, and instruction to properly interact with law enforcement, as the pass is incomplete. So Eric Reed with his cleats supporting Colin Kaepernick's camp today.
It was interesting. When I asked him the question, I said, when you were a collegiate player and you're just dreaming about going to the NFL, did you know that you'd have this higher purpose? And he said, all of my decisions are based on my faith. And so I let that be my guiding light. So really impressive young man to talk to.
Yeah, he said football is just a stepping stone to something bigger in his life. In his 5th year now out of LSU, Trubisky throws a comeback. A nice grab by Cohen. Cohen's got the speed. He's got a 1st down into San Francisco territory, and a late flag comes in. The speedy Tariq Cohen, 4th-round pick out of North Carolina A&T. If it stands, it's a 25-yard pickup.
You know, when you get big offensive linemen out there, that you teach them just run through the guys. Don't grab them as the runner's going by.
Offense number 72.
Yeah.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
That's the left tackle, Charles Leno. He had 2 holding calls last week, and that's his 5th holding penalty that's been accepted this season.
And you saw the arms go outstretched. His mere presence as he's running there, just run through the defender. You don't have to grab him out in space. It's not like no one's watching you. So he put those arms around him, gave him a big bear hug, and then threw him to the ground.
Very creative.
Thank you. I've been saving that one.
Second down and 14. Wipes out a big play for Tariq Cohen and the Bears offense. 11:30 to go in the first half. Trubisky fakes the pass, hands it to Cohen. And this time Cohen is tackled at the 25-yard line.
It's interesting, when we talked to Eric Reed about Tariq Cohen, he said, he's a receiver. I said, all the time? Yes. Even when he's in the backfield? Yes. Because once you get him out in space, that's when he can really be a danger to the defense. John Fox talked about when he was at North Carolina A&T, Tariq Cohen had 5 plays. He plays 5 positions now. Running back, receiver, kickoff return man, punt return man. He's also their wildcat quarterback.
He threw a touchdown pass earlier this season, but right now Chicago faced with a 3rd down and 10. 2 for 3 on 3rd downs today. Trubisky has plenty of time. Now he steps up being chased. Trubisky at the 30, trying to get to the sideline and get the first. And they're going to mark him very close to the first down marker. But it is 4th down. Trubisky comes up just short.
And Trubisky had talked about, I'm a dive forward guy. I'm trying to get as much yardage as I can. You know, one of the things that he talks about in his thinking is positive plays, no sacks. He took a lot of time in the pocket, stick that ball out in the right arm, and I think he's got the first down. He went across the line with that ball in his left arm, and so I think the spot's correct. A little bit short of the yardage to gain.
Well, John Fox does not think the spot is correct. He has thrown the challenge flag. Fox this year 2 for 3 on his challenges. It was
Chicago is challenging the ruling on the field where the ball was down. Forward progress.
ruled a yard short.
So he's got the ball in his right arm now, and he moves that away from the defender, but now extended. See, his right hand goes past the down marker, but the left hand is behind the marker. And, you know, this is an easy one for the officials because it's right there along that marker, and he's behind it. It goes out of bounds, and he's short of the yardage of the game. And remember, it has to be irrefutable video evidence. So it has to be so clear that even the 49er fans won't boo about it if they give him the first down.
John Fox in his career 5-1 against the San Francisco 49ers. His third year as head coach of the Bears, and a disappointing 12-31 record for Fox.
You know, when John Fox came here from Denver, everybody was excited. Hey, we're getting the coach of the Broncos. And, oh, Peyton Manning's not coming? Oh, that makes a big difference right there. But with 3 timeouts, you know, you're not married to these timeouts. You know, 2 timeouts. If you're able to use those and preserve them until you get to the final 2 minutes of the half, and you're using them in a drive, that's plenty of timeouts to use. So maybe he thought here, critical juncture of the game, keep his drive going, but I think he's short.
The runner's leg was down when the ball was 6 inches short of the big line. We're going to put the ball down there, and then we will measure.
Short of the big line. So that's the white line. Remember, our yellow line, which isn't official, was beyond the 35-yard line. So they're going to move it 6 inches closer, and that's still short.
And the punter, Pat O'Donnell, and the Bears punt team remaining on the field.
And right down that line. You can see the marker is on that white line. This is good exercise for the chain gang. You know, normally they don't get to jog on and off the field very often.
So it's still short. John Fox will lose a timeout. All right, so Ed Hockley announces the Bears lost the challenge, lose a timeout. Now Pat O'Donnell will put it away to Trent Taylor, who's back deep for the 49ers.
Yeah, interesting. Pat O'Donnell's averaging 47 yards a punt. Trent Taylor's only lined up at about 42 yards deep.
This one bounces at the 25, right to Taylor, who slips one tackle. A flag is down, and now Taylor is tackled with the ball coming out late, but they're saying that Taylor was down. And we'll see what the penalty marker is about with 9:37 to go in the first half.
It looked like DeAndre Hall, the flyer, might have grabbed the face mask of Trent Taylor as he went by him. Number 32, he was the first guy down covering the punt. And right there, his right arm, I think, grabs the face mask. Right hand grabs the face mask of Trent Taylor.
DeAndre Hall just activated off IR yesterday.
During the punt, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 26. That penalty is enforced from the end of the kick where the kick was caught, half the distance to the goal. San Francisco keeps the ball. First down.
Penalty on Greg Mabin. Timeout on the field. It's a 7-6 Bears lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. Lowe's, hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And by Pepsi, welcoming you to the fun doesn't end zone.
A lot of people out and about on this beautiful weekend in Chicago. The Bears have a 7-6 lead with 9:37 to go in the first half. And after the penalty, the 49ers will start this drive inside their own 10-yard line. With Matt Breida at running back and Garoppolo under center. Play fake. Garoppolo on the move and completes it to George Kittle. And Kittle with a nice job after the catch. A flag is down in the secondary, though, at the 35-yard line.
And all the Bears are pointing in the direction of the San Francisco 49ers. If you can't get open, you can shove your way open sometimes, but that's offensive interference.
Illegal block in the back by the offense, number 84. That foul will be enforced from the end of the run, half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
It's on the rookie Kendrick Bourne. Meanwhile, Kyle Fuller having a nice game so far for the Bears. 3 tackles, 1 for a loss, 2 passes defensed, and the interception.
Yeah, he's certainly in the stat column, and that run where he comes up, that kind of gets your juices flowing. And then the drive on the ball, that's a little bit behind Louis Murphy, and he wrestled it away. Big interception for the Chicago Bears.
For San Francisco and Breida. And we'll go back to New York and update with JB and Boomer.
Green Bay trying to snap a 3-game home losing streak. This is how Phil Simms does it at the buffet line at lunch. Right here, he's not going to beat the 9. That's Jamal Williams. 1-yard run. Packers take the lead over the Bucs 10-7. Good job, Phil. Good job, Jamal. Andrew and James, it's brutal back here. Back to Andrew Catalan.
We can feel the love between Boomer and Phil each and every Sunday, guys. 8:33 to go. And it'll be third down for the 49ers.
Perhaps if the 49er coaches are watching this game up in the booth, the Bears barely got the 12th guy off the field. It's real close to the boundary there, so you can ask for that play to be reviewed, whether or not they had 12 people on the field, but Kyle Shanahan is not doing that. He's going to save those timeouts for when there's a communication issue. with his quarterback.
3rd down and 2 with Carlos Hyde going out to the bottom of your screen. Garoppolo, and that's caught by Taylor for a 1st down. We met with Kyle Shanahan yesterday, and he said they really like what the rookie Taylor has done. 5th-round pick out of Louisiana Tech. They feel like he could be a guy they use in the slot for years to come.
When you have somebody of that stature, 5'8", 178 pounds, you know he's quick. So you've got to have somebody equally as quick to be able to try and cover him.
Another play fake. Garoppolo, and he is sacked. Lamar Houston just rejoined the Bears this week, and he gets the sack. Not the first time that Lamar Houston has sacked Jimmy Garoppolo. In fact, it's the 2nd time. The first time Lamar had to know this was going to come, but the first time it happened was in 2014. Garoppolo playing in mop-up duty, Houston the sack, and when he was celebrating the sack, he tore his ACL, and it cost him the season. So wisely this time, Lamar Houston limited the celebration on the sack of Garoppolo. 2nd and 21. And Garoppolo deep, incomplete, trying to connect with Garrett Selleck.
You know, as you're watching Jimmy Garoppolo, you're kind of like just enjoying the moment a little bit. Even that throw, incomplete on the corner route to the tight end, the accuracy is still there. It goes right over the head of the court. It's like the golfer who is 220 yards out, and he pulls out his 3-wood and he nails it over the green and goes, well, I didn't think I could hit it that far. That ball was still on target, and just maybe thought the tight end was a little faster than he really was.
Let's see how they played here on 3rd and 21. Just a quick pass. That's Breida, the running back. And Breida tackled well short of the 1st down. So this Bears defense, which has been underrated for much of the year, does a nice job here to force a punt.
And a great chance to shift the field position with Tarik Cohen, who is the most explosive player that the Bears have, and they love to get the ball in his hands, so he should be able to get this ball in his hands unless it's great hang time on this punt.
First punt today by Bradley Pinion, the 3rd-year man out of Clemson. Cohen from his own 40, going the wrong way. Now he's really going the wrong way. Trying to reverse field, and look at this. He's got some blockers now. He was going the right way. Cohen all the way. Touchdown, Chicago. A 61-yard return.
You've got to be kidding me. A 61-yard return. Why don't we give him credit for the 30 yards that he ran backwards? They call it a 91-yard return, because this is one of the ones where the head coach is on the sideline going, oh no, oh no, no, just get down, get down. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, oh, just like we drew it up on the chalkboard. Well, maybe not just like, but still 6 points.
And he does it against a San Francisco team that has the best punt coverage unit in the NFL. They hold opponents to just 2.5 yards per return. Well, that average just got blown up by Tarik Cohen with the punt return touchdown. And here is Santos for the extra point. And it's a 14-6 lead. Tarik Cohen continues to excite in Chicago. Sweet home, Chicago. So Tarik Cohen now has a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a punt return touchdown this season for the Bears. There'll be a touchback, and San Francisco will get the ball at the 25. Well, players are supporting charitable causes important to them through cleats that are custom designed and inspired by their causes. Discover the stories behind the cleats and bid on select players' special edition cleats at NFL.com/mycausemycleats. And this week, more than 30 Bears players are using their cleats to bring attention to some worthy causes. Both Patrick O'Donnell and Benny Cunningham are using their cleats to pay tribute to their fathers who passed away of cancer. 5:49 to go, first half. It's an 8-point Chicago lead after the punt return touchdown by Tariq Cohen. It's Breida on the carry. Breida tripped up at the 29-yard line. It was Prince Amukamara who made the tackle.
You know, we've gotten to that time of the year where injuries just start to deplete rosters and you're trying to fill it in. For the San Francisco 49ers, 2 running backs and a fullback today, Breida and obviously Carlos Hyde and then Juszczyk. So just 3 runners that they have at their disposal.
Second down and 5 with Garoppolo in the shotgun. Fires to the sideline, caught by Marquise Goodwin and out of bounds for a San Francisco first down.
You know, when I was on the field before the game, the sunlight is bright right now. So in my long list of excuses why other people drop balls, the ball got lost in the sun was one of them. And so you do get a bright sun this time of year.
What else did you have on your list as a wide receiver of excuses?
It was windy. I think somebody put grease on the ball.
Sure.
I slipped. I didn't think it was meant for me.
There's Carlos Hyde with some room, and Carlos Hyde gets all the way out to midfield. Chris Prosinski makes the stop, but not before Hyde picks up 14. And he was off to a slow start. He had just 6 carries for 4 yards before that run.
Going to the no huddle, one of the things that Kyle Shanahan talked about was trying to wear this big defensive front out. So a pass to one side, a run to wide to the other side, now fast pace.
Garoppolo fires, caught again by Goodwin at the 31-yard line. Amukamara on the stop. But, you know, James, we met with Kyle Shanahan last night. He said, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't done a lot of play action in his career. It's something we've been trying to work with him on. It's still new to turn his back to the field. We've seen the play action a number of times in the first half. With 3:45 to go.
And the big run by Carlos Hyde on the previous play had those linebackers antsy. We need to stop the tackle. We need to stop Carlos Hyde.
On the pitch, not much room to run for Matt Breida. It'll be second down.
But once again, making the entire front 7 run. That time, Akeem Hicks, who we met with, he's lined up over the right tackle. He did not cross the hash mark chasing his play down. And Akeem Hicks, I asked him, I said, you know, are you really 336 pounds, or, you know, is that just something you write down? He said, I'm 336 plus a couple of hamburgers.
I thought it was also interesting what he said, that they didn't go back and watch any New England film of Jimmy Garoppolo this week. It was all about the scheme of Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco, more about the system than the quarterback in their film study. Breida is hit hard at the 27-yard line. It'll be third down.
Now, about that, going back and watching New England, that would be scary. You watch New England's offense as opposed to watching what the 49ers have been doing the last 3 or 4 games. Because you're watching New England going, oh no, that's what we're going to see. No, you're going to see what the 49ers do, their players. And for Akeem Hicks and those defensive linemen, they want to know what Joe Staley's going to do. They want to know what Trent Brown is going to do. That's who they're playing against. They're not really playing against Garoppolo. He's nice, and Akeem Hicks said he had to learn something sitting next to TB12 all those years.
See what he does here on third down and 5. Looking for Taylor, he's got him, and Trent Taylor has another San Francisco first down. A gain of 10 for the rookie out of Louisiana Tech.
This offensive line for the 49ers, this is absolute pass protection, because it allowed Garoppolo to drop back, to take a quick peek inside, and then go to his outside receiver. So fantastic job by the guys up front. You can see him, Daniel Kilgore in that huddle in the middle, kind of slapping 5, and good job, guys.
2-minute warning at Soldier Field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right. And by Forevermark. Discover the Forevermark Tribute Collection at forevermark.com.
Back in Chicago, the Bears have a 14-6 lead, but San Francisco driving. How about this? Tariq Cohen, the first Bear to score on a punt return against the 49ers since Gale Sayers in 1967. He's given the Bears an 8-point lead, but it's 1st and 10 for San Francisco from the 16-yard line. Garoppolo, quick pass, and it's caught by his tight end Kittle, muscling his way inside the 10, brought down by Danny Trevathan. And
well, I just
going to be
love
short.
But the quick decision, is he open? Can I throw him open? Get the ball out of my hands? There's not a lot of indecision in Jimmy Garoppolo. So when Kyle Shanahan's sending that play in and it gets to go all the way down to 15 seconds where he can talk to him through that headset, he's giving him the right little nugget of what to do against the coverages.
2nd down and 1. It's high, trying to kick it to the outside, and he's cut down. Great tackle by Kyle Fuller, who's having an incredible first half for the Bears. That's his 5th tackle.
When you go back to Kyle Fuller coming out of Virginia Tech and Bud Foster was his defensive coordinator, the one thing that you knew about those Hokies is that they came up and they tackled. And Kyle Fuller hasn't forgotten those lessons that he learned at Virginia Tech.
You surprised the Bears not using a timeout here?
No.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't want to give Kyle Shanahan more time to think about what play he wanted to call.
All right, 3rd down and 1, 40 seconds to go. They hand it off again. Hyde hit at the line of scrimmage, and now a flag is down. Bears defense indicating it should be 4th down, but let's see what the penalty is. Outside of that 14-yard run for Hyde, it's been tough sledding.
Looked like he fell forward of what would have been the 1st down, and Lamar Houston is down there giving the illegal procedure penalty signal. He talked Ed Hockley into it.
Please reset the clock to 39 seconds. It's a false start by the offense, number 28 on the play. That requires a 10-second runoff. Take the ball.
Well, they could call a timeout,
They could
San
use one of their
Francisco, to
timeouts,
avoid
correct.
the runoff.
39 seconds on the clock, please. 39 on the clock. 39 seconds on the game clock, please. Well, the clock operator's doing that. There's 39 seconds on the clock. There would be a 10-second runoff, except San Francisco is electing to call timeout, so there will be no runoff. 39 seconds. Repeat 3rd down and a timeout by San Francisco. That's their first charge timeout, and it's a 30-second timeout.
So basically the play should have never happened. It should have been blown dead
Correct.
before. And now Kyle Shanahan, to avoid the 10-second runoff, uses a timeout.
And I don't think it was Carlos Hyde because he was in the backfield. Normally that's an end man on the line.
Yeah, it was
See that
85,
little
Kittle.
flinch by Kittle.
So 3rd down and 6. San Francisco and Chicago, both with 2 timeouts remaining and 39 seconds on the clock. With Garoppolo's family and friends in attendance, let's see what he does here on the 10th play of the drive.
So you send it back out to define the coverage. This is zone coverage behind him.
And another flag is down. And another false start. That's the
False
6th
start
penalty.
offense, number 11. That's a 5-yard penalty. There is no runoff because the clock was stopped prior to that snap.
6 penalties against San Francisco.
And that's Marquise Goodwin, former All-American in track and field and a sprinter and a long jumper. And if you do that in the blocks, you get kicked out.
Yeah.
But at least he gets another snap at it. And really, for the offense, in my mind, I'm thinking this just gives us more room to work with. Now we have an entire 26 yards to the back of the end zone.
So it's 3rd down and 11. Garoppolo nowhere to go. being chased by Acho, throws it in the end zone, and it's caught by Kittle. Was he in bounds? No! Kittle was out of bounds. What a grab by Kittle to go up and get that one, but he couldn't get the feet in, and it's 4th down.
Well, obviously, this looks like number 16 to number 87.
It sure does.
And was that Everson Walls right there in front of him trying to go up to knock it away? You know, when you think about ball placement and little things like that, to be able to throw it high where the defense can't get it, and if it does, you know, it's going to be out of bounds. So you got to love a lot of the things that you've seen from Jimmy Garoppolo in the first half.
35-yard field goal attempt for Robbie Gould. He's now 3 for 3 on the day. It's 14-9 with 24 seconds to go. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this. 3 red zone trips, 3 field goals for Jimmy Garoppolo, but as James said, that last play, now granted the stakes a little lower today than they were here.
The stakes are always high when you're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, but there he is. He's looking for Freddie Solomon at first, and there's Joe Montana. He said, we practiced this over and over again, and there's Everson Walls trying to knock it away from Dwight Clark.
16-87.
The catch.
And a touchback. So the Bears have 2 timeouts, and they do get the ball to start the second half. So we'll see if John Fox just takes a knee. Tariq Cohen, first Chicago player since Gale Sayers in 1965 to have a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, a return touchdown, and a passing touchdown. Unbelievable what this rookie has provided this year for the Bears.
24 seconds, 2 timeouts, chance to maybe get in field goal range.
And you see all that, 127 yards on that punt return is what he covered, even though it was 61 yards in the box score. This time he's not able to break 3. And it looks like neither team will call a timeout, and that will be the final play of the first half. Jimmy Garoppolo, 15 of 22 for 172 yards and an interception in the first half. It's Trubisky and the Bears who lead it 14-9. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon. And a word from your local station. Chicago leads 14-9 here at Soldier Field.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Spectacular weather in Chicago this weekend. Halftime at Soldier Field, and the Bears lead the 49ers 14-9. You take a look at the first half numbers, statistically heavily tilted in favor of San Francisco, but 3 field goals in the red zone, one of the big factors in this game, along with the punt return touchdown by Tariq Cohen. With Hall of Famer James Lofton, I'm Andrew Catalon. A lot of hype about the quarterback matchup. What do you think of Garoppolo and Trubisky in the first half?
Well, I've been impressed with both quarterbacks. When you look at Trubisky, 5 out of 6, not a lot of yards, but he has not made any mistakes. And for Garoppolo, the one interception, that's not really his fault, but it does go down under his ledger. It's the first he's ever thrown, so 172 yards, many more yards than I thought he would have gotten when we had listened to Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan telling us, well, maybe this game will be 3-6 and we'll only throw the ball 5 times. And he just told us a bunch of stories. I thought his nose was going to grow.
Tariq Cohen, who had that magical moment in the first half, is back deep to receive the second half kickoff from Pinion. And this will be a touchback, so Trubisky will get the ball to 25. How about that man, Mr. Cohen, on the punt return? If it seemed like he ran for more than 61 yards, well, he did. Take a look at this with our eye vision.
And I'm telling you, Andrew, this is a oh no. When he makes this move right here, you're thinking, just get down on the ground. Don't lose us any more yardage. And then right now, the pom-poms come out. Yes, he can do it.
Incredible return. He covered 127 yards on that punt return touchdown. Bears start the second half with Howard on the ground and not much there.
And I think for the Bears, that is the man that they would love to get on track. Jordan Howard, because he really does carry this team, and he sets up, I think, everything else that they'd like to do offensively. We talk about the pass game. You're not just going to drop back and throw the ball 35, 40 times in a game with a rookie quarterback. You need the run game to start it off so the play action passing game works.
Howard again, this time a little bit more room along the left side, and he's a couple yards shy of a first down.
And you can see what the emphasis was when they went into the locker room at halftime. Get Jordan Howard the ball. And the head coach, he doesn't want to overwhelm the offensive coordinator, Dow Loggins, with information during halftime. He might just walk by him and say, run the ball. Run the ball.
27 yards rushing for Howard today, so he's passed Matt Forte for the most rushing yards in the first 2 years of a career with the Bears. Over 1,300 last year and moving closer to 900 on this season. Howard again on third down, and Howard stretches out, and he's got the first. So, as you said, 3 plays, 3 runs, all to Howard, and the Bears move the chains.
And Dante Johnson, who went out in the first quarter with an injury, back on the field now, hanging on for dear life. He had the right leg of Jordan Howard, and if he had let it go, we're talking about a big gain, because the 49ers had crowded the line of scrimmage with 10 defenders and only 1 player deep in center field.
Dion Sims goes in motion on 1st and 10. A play fake. Trubisky wanted to go deep, nobody home. Now he's in trouble, and Trubisky stays on his feet until he gets to the 40-yard line, and that's when the tackle is made by Reuben Foster. He was setting up to go long, but good coverage by San Francisco.
You know, we see more and more young quarterbacks who come into the league who have great running ability. And, you know, maybe it's spread offenses, maybe it's what they're doing in high school, and they are great runners until they get to that point where they really get battered a lot. And so to be a good runner, to come in, to run the ball out, you're going to see that time and time again from young quarterbacks.
5th tackle today by Reuben Foster. 2nd down. Trubisky over the middle, incomplete. Was trying to squeeze it into Dion Sims, and it's 3rd and 6.
You know, you talk about going through your progressions, and quarterbacks will know where the first receiver is, the second receiver, and then it's kind of a blur after that, because you've got 5 guys out in the pattern, and normally you don't throw to all 5 of those slots during a practice. So at that point, it's scan the field quickly. Who's open? Can I get him the ball? And that time, just a little off balance. He talked about when he looked at his film last week against the Eagles, how he threw the ball and he was off balance a couple times. That time, Mitchell Trubisky was off balance when he tried to get that ball to Dion Sims.
Yeah, worked on his footwork. He told us a lot during practice this week. 3rd down, quick pass, caught by Kendall Wright for a first down, and then a big hit in San Francisco territory by Adrian Colbert, but not before Wright picks up 13.
Well, that's a good, solid shoulder tackle, but also a good job by Wright. You're with that defender on top of you, working him to the inside. Watch the hit here at the end. Listen. Doesn't hurt much when you hang on to the ball.
So Chicago moves into 49er territory at the 46. They give it to Howard. Howard trying to push that pile forward, maybe gets a yard out of that one. The Bears just went over 100 yards of offense for the game compared to 214 for San Francisco.
Now, for me, that's not a huge issue because they still have 14 points. And when you're an offensive player, all you're thinking about is how many points have we put on the board. Even if we didn't put them up there, we still claim them. So they still claim the 14 points that they went into halftime with. Here's our quarterback out there wide.
There he is. It's Howard. With Trubisky lined up wide, not much doing there. San Francisco does a good job. Sheldon Day, playing in his 2nd game, makes the tackle. How about this? Kyle Long has a shoulder injury, and he is questionable to return, the starting right guard.
Big Tom Compton, number 76, is kind of filling in for him. right there in your picture.
There's Compton at right guard. The Bears are 2 for 2 on third downs in this drive. It's 3rd and 6. Trubisky in trouble, and he just gets rid of it. It was Solomon Thomas, the rookie out of Stanford, applying the pressure, and it's 4th and 6 for the Bears.
4th and 6 at the 42. See the snap? Little high, he's looking, he's bouncing, he's trying to move around, and it's the pressure. And you saw number 76, Compton, this guy who's running at him with his man unblocked. Coverage, yeah, maybe that's a little late in the process that we saw at the end, but there was nobody there when he wanted to deliver the ball.
Third punt for O'Donnell with Taylor, the return man for San Francisco. He lets it bounce at the 10. And it's down at the 12-yard line with 10:16 to go, third quarter. It's still a 5-point Chicago advantage. Back at Soldier Field in Chicago with Hall of Famer James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalon, our entire NFL on CBS crew. Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers trail the Bears 14-9. First drive of the second half for Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. Throwing on first down, Garoppolo completes it to Marquise Goodwin, who's shoved out of bounds by Amukamara. Tonight, in its 50 years, 60 Minutes has brought you some incredible moments. See the best of America's most watched news broadcast tonight, only CBS. 5 catches, 68 yards for Marquise Goodwin, who's been a nice pickup for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. His first season in San Francisco after 4 with the Bills. It's a pitch to Carlos Hyde. Cuts it back, and he's tackled at the 25-yard line. That's good for a San Francisco first down.
You know, that last hit, Carlos Hyde, toss, you're running, and he gets slammed right when he's trying to break up into the hole. But Carlos Hyde is one of those rare non-fumblers who just doesn't put the ball on the ground.
Play fake. Garoppolo over the middle. Dangerous pass. And somehow the catch was made by Louis Murphy. Garoppolo threw that into traffic. Appeared destined for an interception. Instead, it's Murphy who comes down with it.
So let's get up on the ball, try and see if we can get it snapped quickly. Garoppolo holding in the pocket, and throws this ball straight down the middle of Louis Murphy.
At the playoff, Carlos Hyde, nothing there, but the play stands on the 16-yard pickup to Murphy. Let's go back to it.
As this ball is coming down, there are 3 defenders around, and Louis Murphy gets his hands under it. Right there, there's a little bit of scrum at the bottom, but I don't think this ball ever hits the ground. So this is a clean catch by Louis Murphy.
So the drive continues with Breida down the carry, and Breida close to midfield, still moving those legs, and his forward progress is a half a yard shy of a first down. Christian Jones on the tackle for the Bears. It's 3rd and short. I've got to say, James, one of the things we were looking for today was the communication between Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. Shanahan told us he expected to use a lot of timeouts. Wasn't sure how this was going to play out today. We've seen it look like a pretty smooth operation from at least here in the booth.
It really has been, and I think the fact that Kyle Shanahan probably pared this thing down to about a third of his normal play sheet has kept it a little simpler for Jimmy Garoppolo.
On 3rd and 1, Garoppolo has the first down. 7.5 to go in the third quarter. And Shanahan told us they pared down the playbook quite a bit from the one they were using with rookie C.J. Beathard. And he also said that Garoppolo this week wasn't really learning the San Francisco offense as much as he was learning the game plan to attack the Bears. It was more focused on how do we win this week than how do we continue to learn this offense.
And it was funny for Kyle Shanahan. He said, this is tough for me because I'm a play caller and I like to have a lot at my disposal, and I'm the most fired up guy on the sideline. I said, today going to be a less caffeine day? He said, yes, a lot less caffeine for today.
Yeah, he said he wants to be as chill as possible. That was a quote from Shanahan as he would
He looks
relay
pretty
the
chill
plays
right now.
But he says this is very out of his comfort zone. He's very intense, likes to get the play in quickly as Garoppolo dropped the snap, but he picked it up. So they avoid danger there at second down.
Sometimes just trying to get away from the center just a little bit early, not riding the center forward and waiting for that snap to come up. And it looks like it might have even been a little bit off target. You saw Kilgore taking a step to the left, and that ball was more on the left cheek than coming straight down the middle.
San Francisco has run 19 plays in Chicago territory today, but still looking for their first touchdown. Second down and 11. It's Breida. And Breida picks up 3. It'll be third down.
It's interesting. You think of Carlos Hyde as a back that you want to run a lot on first and second down. Well, because you only have 2 backs, you kind of have to spell them a little bit. And with second and 10, realizing, you may have a third down coming up, and the more accomplished of the 2 backs being Carlos Hyde, we've got to have him ready for third down. So you have him at your disposal now.
Third down and 8. Garoppolo in the shotgun. Over the middle, the pass is caught for a first down. Marquise Goodwin again. Marcus Cooper makes the tackle, but Goodwin having a big day, a gain of 10.
When we look at running backs, one of the things we always talk about is how many yards they rush for. But on this last play, Carlos Hyde stood there, the blitz coming, and he picked it up like a star.
No huddle on first down, and Hyde gets back to the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, in that third down catch, Marquise Goodwin just tied his career high. That's his 6th reception of the game. San Francisco, last in the NFL in average time of possession. They average under 27 minutes per game, but they have dominated the clock in this game against Chicago. Tied again, wrestled down from behind by Eddie Goldman. And they're saying Hyde was down before the ball popped out.
Of course, I talked about him never fumbling, so he's gonna ball comes out when he hits the ground.
So San Francisco has already surpassed its season average of time of possession with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Bears defense has been on the field. This will be the 51st play for the 49ers on offense compared to just 25 for the Bears on offense.
Watch for Akeem Hicks as a big pass rusher to be right in the quarterback's face there.
Third and 8. Garoppolo caught by Taylor. What a grab. And another third down conversion. 15 yards for Trent Taylor.
Trent Taylor is listed at all of 5'8", 178 pounds. Those arms stretched up to about 7'5" right there because that ball was high over the middle.
49ers are 3 for 3 on third downs during this drive. Garoppolo is 19 out of 26 for the game for 221 yards passing. With 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. From the 20, it's first and 10. Carlos Hyde. And Hyde picks up 4.
That was just a grind them out run because it looked like there was a hole, the hole closed up, and then at the end of it you saw Carlos Hyde still able to push forward and get a couple yards out of what looked like a nothing play at the start.
13 carries for Hyde. He has just 29 yards rushing.
They're tough yards, but the fact that he has 13 carries gives you a little balance between run and pass. So you're getting a lot of pass yards, and I think it's a benefit because they're playing so tough against the run up front.
8-minute drive for the 49ers, and it continues here as Louis Murphy makes the catch.
Now that's called incomplete.
And now it's incomplete. He's saying that he caught it.
He's trying to lobby the sideline, and the officials are conferring as to whether or not this ball was caught or not caught. And so if we're going to throw the challenge flag, go to replay, it had to be incomplete. So he has it. I don't think the ball ever hits the ground. I know it's loose when he hits the ground, but it looks like he has it sandwiched in between his legs.
And Kyle Shanahan has thrown the challenge flag. No coach has won more challenges this year than Kyle Shanahan. He's 5 out of 7 on his challenges.
San Francisco is challenging the ruling on the field that the pass was incomplete.
See, from the replays that we've seen thus far, when Louis Murphy is juggling the ball, we see him juggling it, but we never see the ball actually come out and hit the ground. You can see it's a little loose there, and he's on his side. So, and as his back is turned to the official who's coming in from the outside, loose, but not on the ground. Not on the ground.
Well, I don't know if that look, James, you can prove that it wasn't on the ground.
You need a look that proves that he caught it.
Correct.
Now, because the ball's called incomplete, and it was a quick pass thrown to pick up the first down, and it's just a little low by Jimmy Garoppolo. That's like reason 17 as to why I didn't complete the catch. It was a little low.
All right, Ed Hockley, after communicating with New York, has a decision.
The ruling on the field, Stans has called.
Stans.
It is an incomplete pass. San Francisco is charged with their first time out of the half.
Just don't have that look from behind the play. And again, Kyle Shanahan told us timeout's so precious for us today as Garoppolo continues to learn their language.
But I think a first down there inside the 10-yard line was even more precious than one of his extra timeouts, because that gives you a first down as opposed to going after a third down right here.
Longest drive of the season for the 49ers, trying to keep it going. It's 3rd down and 6. Selleck in motion. Garoppolo, nowhere to go. Now chased out, rolling left, pressure coming, he throws. It's caught by Kendrick Bourne, and now a late flag comes in.
Well, they went after his head there, but Kendrick Bourne had also stepped out of bounds, and I believe he was the first to touch when he came back inbound. So, you know, the Bears were worried. We weren't trying to hit him in the head, but when he's coming back down the sideline, it looked like his right foot stepped out of bounds, and then he was again the first to touch.
The receiver, number 84, went out of bounds, came back inbounds, and was the first to touch the pass. That's a foul for illegal touching by the offense. The penalty is a loss of down. Brings up 4th down at the previous spot.
I saw the hat down on the ground, an indicator that he went out of bounds.
And I've always thought that and you know, he got pushed there initially, but he had taken another step after that. So I've always thought that was an interesting penalty, because there's no loss of yardage or anything like that, just a loss of down.
So 4th red zone trip today for San Francisco, and this is the 4th field goal attempt for Robbie Gould, this time from 34 yards away. And Gould is now 4 for 4 in his return to Chicago, a 2-point game at Soldier Field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Now this guy, he's ready to roll here at Soldier Field. Don't forget, Thursday they'll be ready to roll in the NFC South, New Orleans and Atlanta. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. Cohen back deep to receive the kickoff, and he will take a knee. So with 1:57 to go in the 3rd quarter, it's a 2-point Chicago lead. Inside 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Robbie Gould with 4 field goals today. Bears fans know him well. Kicked here for 11 seasons. He's accounted for all of the 49ers points. On 1st and 10, Trubisky dropped a snap. And he falls on it with Eli Harold closing in.
That is where the NFL is a kinder, gentler league. 15, 20 years ago, that's a shoulder in the back rib cage of the quarterback, and there's no foul. Now he's down, he's giving himself up. You just go and touch him.
Gold's career high in a game, 5 made field goals. He's 4 for 4.
I think he likes the visiting sideline because he gets to sit in the sun.
2nd and 16. Trubisky completes it to Cohen at the 25. Cohen hit hard at the 28-yard line. That was Reuben Foster, the fellow rookie, making the big tackle.
When you have a player who is small in stature like Cohen is, 5'6", 178 pounds, you always wonder about the durability and the toughness. And Mitchell Trubisky said, you know, here's a guy who will stick his shoulder into people, who will try and run over the opposing player. So they don't worry about his toughness and his durability.
3rd down and 6 with Trubisky out of the shotgun. Here comes the pressure. The ball is out, loose on the ground, and the Bears fall on it. Trubisky was the one who recovered the fumble after it was knocked out, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, that's Cassius Marsh, the ex-Seattle Seahawk, and he is unblocked. And nice tomahawk right there. And this ball, nobody knew where it was for quite some time. Dumerville's back there. He's looking. He knows it's out, but he just can't find it.
So a great job by the San Francisco defense as they force a quick punt, and that could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. It is. So a 2-point game going to the 4th. We'll return to Chicago after this message and a word from your local station. Start of the 4th quarter, and Chicago has a 14-12 lead on San Francisco. You see in the hat there is the kicker, Cairo Santos. He has not done the kickoffs today. He looked very ginger when he kicked the extra points for Chicago, as this punt was short, fielded by Taylor. Taylor tackled shy of midfield. But there's something going on with Cairo Santos. We asked the Bears, they said nothing to share at this time.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by Honda, introducing the all-new Accord, the most impressive Honda ever.
Great shot from here in Chicago. Early 4th quarter, the Bears lead the 49ers by 2, but San Francisco will start this drive at their own 48-yard line. And on 1st down, it's a pitch to Hyde, and Hyde comes into Chicago territory with the tackle being made at the 47-yard line by Amukamara.
Just enough for the run game, even though it hasn't produced eye-popping numbers, can keep that Bears front from just unleashing the pass rush every play after Garoppolo.
Garoppolo going no huddle here, throwing on 2nd down, pressure coming, and he's down. Christian Jones came and brings down Garoppolo.
Yeah, Brandon Fusco, the right guard, missed his block. Garoppolo, they've been after him. They know he's the guy, so a hit on the sideline, a hit in the pocket. But Jimmy G is standing in there tall, has a chance here on 3rd down to pick it up and keep this drive going, because this starting field position that they got after this punt, you got to take advantage of it.
2nd sack today by the Bears defense. It's 3rd and 9. Protection is good. Garoppolo to Taylor, and he's got the 1st down. Trent Taylor has made some big catches today. This one for 10 yards and another San Francisco 1st down.
Sometimes you get a guy like Trent Taylor who has nice wiggle and he wants to run and squirm. He realizes, hey, this was 3rd and 8. I've only run a 6-yard route. I've got to get upfield after the catch and squeeze in between a couple of defenders. So nice, smart, heady football by Trent Taylor.
12th play today by the San Francisco offense of at least 10 yards. And for Taylor, he's tied his career high with 5 catches, and he has a new career high with 59 yards receiving.
Yeah, they're having trouble getting lined up here.
Garoppolo to Goodwin. Kyle Fuller immediately makes the tackle, but Goodwin gets 8.
when Goodwin was with the Buffalo Bills, you had Sammy Watkins, he's in his shadow. Robert Woods, he's into his shadow. Sometimes he had a hard time making the team. He decided he wanted to try out for the Olympics and go to the 2016 Olympics. And so his future was up in the air. He's found a nice home here in San Francisco and having a great day today. 7 catches, 86 yards so far.
He's got all 7 of his targets. It's 2nd and 2. Hand off to Breida. Breida slips through the line and picks up the first down. Tackle made at the 29-yard line, and there's a late flag that comes in. It was John Jenkins who made the stop. San Francisco has been penalized 7 times today for 45 yards.
Illegal block in the back by the offense, number 88. That's a 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. Repeat, 2nd down.
Penalties have been a problem this year for Kyle Shanahan and the Niners. They came in tied for the 4th most penalties in the NFL, and they've added 8 to their total of 85 coming into the game.
You saw Garrett Selleck with his hands, his palms kind of going like, what did I do? I didn't do it. So, sometimes players admit to the penalty and, put their head down, but Selleck obviously did not agree with the call there.
San Francisco is still in the huddle. They break it with 12 on the play clock. Second down and 12. 1 on the play clock. Garoppolo just takes the snap in time, and Breida is wrapped up. Let's go back to New York. An update with JB and Boomer.
Minnesota with a little breathing room. How about Case Keenum and Kyle Rudolph? This is going to be Keenum's 2nd touchdown pass of the day. The Vikings retake the lead 14-9. Case Keenum on 19-24, 178 yards, 2 TDs, and no interceptions.
Rudolph's 3rd touchdown in the last 2 weeks. Back to Andrew and James.
Case Keenum continues to play well for Minnesota. Meanwhile, here with 11:15 to go, it's 3rd and 14 for the 49ers. They are 7 of 13 on 3rd downs today.
And a little bit late breaking the huddle.
Garoppolo fires incomplete. He was looking for Louis Murphy, and it's 4th down, and Kyle Shanahan sends out his punter, Bradley Pinion.
Just remember, 3 weeks ago, Louis Murphy was at the health club riding a bike. Now he's playing in an NFL game in his 9th season, and just great coverage by Kyle Fuller. If Jimmy Garoppolo gets that ball down chest level or belt level, I think he has a completion to Louis Murphy.
Tarik Cohen awaiting the punt at his own 7-yard line. Pinion trying to pin him deep. It's a very short punt. Cohen fields it at the 17. Cohen's already taken 1 back to the house. Can he do it again? He's at midfield. Cohen down the sideline. 1 man back there. There is a flag down, and now Cohen is tripped up inside the 20. A 68-yard return. But let's see what the penalty flag is. It's back at the 35-yard line.
Bears offense is walking backwards. The 49ers defense is walking backwards. But still a fantastic return by Tarik Cohen.
During the return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 84. It's 10-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul, which is the 24-yard line. 1st down.
It's on Ben Braunecker, the tight end, wipes out the big return by Cohen.
Look at how far the infraction happens away from Cohen. I think he's clear even if you don't make the block at all, but you don't know that. And the block comes in the back. The runner's already past you, and you can see him going, oh, wasn't me. I didn't do it. Yeah, you did. It's tough. Now the special teams coach finally wants to talk to you. He didn't want to talk to you on Wednesday or Thursday, but now he wants to talk to you.
1st and 10. They hand it off to Jordan Howard. He runs right into Eli Harold, who makes the tackle. James, you have to wonder if San Francisco is going to keep punting to Tarik Cohen. They might have seen enough of the rookie Cohen.
It might be time to directionally punt it, get it outside the numbers or even out of bounds. But really, this is about the 49ers defense now. can a playmaker emerge to make a 3 and out? You had a great play on first down. Now you've got to start watching Reuben Foster, that middle linebacker. How does he react? Where does he go? Because he can make a lot of plays in the middle of the field.
Trubisky throws it to Cohen. He slips one tackle. Cohen with some speed has the first down, and he's still going all the way out to the 35. Brock Coyle finally catches up with him, but a 22-yard pickup for Cohen.
When I was with the San Diego Chargers and Marty Schottenheimer was our head coach, when we get in situations where we needed a play, he'd say, think players, not plays. So on my sheet of plays that Dow Loggins has, he has a sheet of plays that are specifically for Tariq Cohen. That was one of them. Get the ball in a hot guy's hands.
Now, Loggins told us that Cohen is still learning the finer details of being a wide receiver, but he is certainly catching up quickly here in his rookie year. This is Howard, and he gets a yard. Next Sunday, it's all about playoff spots. Two of the NFC's top teams, Minnesota and Carolina, collide. Washington battles Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Of course, check your local listings and kick off your day with JB, Phil, Coach Nate, and Boomer on the NFL Today at 12 Eastern on CBS.
You know, entering December, you're at 5 and 6 entering this weekend. You have those dreams of the playoffs, but I think you've got to get to double digits to get to the playoffs this year. So many teams clustered 6 and 6, 5 and 6, whatever. Got to get 10 wins.
Trubisky completes it to Bellamy, who did not play last week because of a concussion. That's his first catch today.
You know, when you haven't caught a ball all game long, you've been playing catch on the sidelines to kind of keep your hands nice and limber. It feels good. Even though that ball was low, he went down, he got his hands underneath it, so now he feels like, hey, I'm hot. Come to me again. I can do it.
Third down and 5. Trubisky, and that's caught for a first down. It's the tight end Daniel Brown, a gain of 14 and just the 8th first down today by Chicago.
No great threat of a pass rush. Brown goes to the little move outside, then he makes a curly Q move back inside. Nobody there to take away the throw underneath.
Trubisky, 11 out of 15 for 107 yards and a touchdown.
Hey, Bear! Hey!
7.5 to go in the fourth. Howard is nudged out at the 43-yard line. Now, we mentioned this before, James, but Cairo Santos has not gotten off the bench for Chicago this entire half. We asked the Bears about him. They said nothing to report, nothing to share. But you really wonder if he's a player for John Fox, with O'Donnell, the punter, never having attempted a field goal in an NFL game.
You do have to wonder about that, but there's your punter down there by the net. You would think that he'd have to get another holder also to get involved in this. And Trubisky might be the backup holder.
Second down and 7. That's Cohen in motion. They fake it to him. They fake it again. It's a screen, and the 49ers are there. Eric Reed brings down Howard for a loss of 5.
When you are one of the lead offensive linemen out on a screen, you've got to block the first opposing color. The linemen are going to slip out in front of the screen, but Eric Reed is a little bit faster than your big 330-some-odd pound offensive center. So Eric Reed 1, offensive line 0.
4 down.
Third down and 12. Chicago 5 of 9 on third downs today. This quarter is flying by. 6:05 to go. Trubisky steps up. He's going to keep it himself. Trubisky is hit hard at the 43, short of a first down. It was Adrian Colbert, the rookie safety, who made the hit. And now we know O'Donnell is coming on the field. It'll be to punt here for John Fox.
I don't think that this would be the time of the game where you would fake your punt, but obviously when we're at practice, we see all the gadgets that teams like to do. We've covered Jacksonville this season where they've had 2 fake punts. But if your defense is playing well enough, which I think the Bears defense has been, try and get this punt inside the 10-yard line.
O'Donnell does have a passing touchdown on a fake punt this year. He's kicking here with Taylor calling for a fair catch at his own 8-yard line. 5:27 to go. San Francisco gets the ball back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Tide. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back at Soldier Field, 5:27 to go. San Francisco with the ball down by 2. Garoppolo nowhere to go. Fires, and it's caught by Goodwin at the 20-yard line. Marquise Goodwin was down when the ball came out. A 13-yard gain, and for Goodwin, that's his 8th catch. He's got 99 yards receiving today.
Great time in the pocket. You have zone coverage behind, and Goodwin comes all the way across the field. You wanted to hit him in the middle of the field, and that's a big, solid tackle by Lamar Houston at the end of the play.
Career high 8 catches for Goodwin. Takes the ball out to the 21-yard line. San Francisco has 2 timeouts remaining. They lost one on a failed challenge. It's Breida. And Breida to the 25. And that's where he's met by a host of Bears tacklers. Well, Saturday, for the first time in 21 years, Army looks to capture the Commander-in-Chief's trophy if they can once again beat Navy. It's the 118th Army-Navy game. Coverage begins with college football today at 2:30 Eastern on CBS. Garoppolo wanted to go deep again. Nobody there. Checks it down. And the pass is caught at the 30 by Juszczyk. It'll be 3rd down and short, and Danny Trevathan is slow to get up. Missed the last 3 games with a calf injury. And now on one knee, and Ed Hockley has stopped the clock. With 4:03 to go, it's a 14-12 Chicago lead. 3rd down and 1 for San Francisco. They've got the first with Hyde and more. Carlos Hyde out toward midfield. A big run on 3rd and 1, a gain of 19. Christian Jones makes the tackle.
There are 3 tight ends in that last set. Logan Paulson, 6'5", 278 pounds. He was the point of attack tight end and did a nice job shielding off the defender.
3.5 to go from Soldier Field. 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning for San Francisco. Robbie Gould has already made 4 field goals today. He might get another chance against his former team. San Francisco looks for its 2nd win of the year. Garoppolo nearly tripped, able to maintain his balance and completed to Juszczyk, but it's a gain of 1 for the San Francisco fullback.
You know, normally I stumble like this when I'm trying to do too much at the health club, but he just steps on the foot of Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde, maybe he's not supposed to be that close to the quarterback, but Garoppolo, he wanted a quick pass to the left. It wasn't there, so he's trying to backpedal to buy more time. And the running back, Carlos Hyde, did not expect him to continue to back up.
There's Robbie Gould, who, in making 50-yard field goals, 3rd best percentage in NFL history. So he's got the leg if it comes to that. And certainly a familiar setting here at Soldier Field. 2nd down and 9. Garoppolo's pass is incomplete. He was looking for Carlos Hyde, and it's 3rd and 9. And is this 4-down territory for San Francisco?
I think it is. I would not want to punt the ball away, trying to think that my defense can go out there, I can use my timeouts efficiently. But that was the pass that they needed to complete. That little arrow route, Roger Craig made it famous years ago playing for Bill Walsh. And you needed that on 2nd down to set up a shorter 3rd down situation.
San Francisco needs to get to the Chicago 42-yard line for a 1st down.
Trent Taylor's been good in the slot right there.
Garoppolo over the middle, caught by Taylor. 1st down and more. Taylor at the 20 and dragged down at the 18. He's been just as James identified, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Taylor with a gain of 33, and San Francisco is in field goal range.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network. And by Bud Light. Brewed to be enjoyed responsibly.
We got a tight one at Soldier Field. 2 minutes to go. Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers trail by 2, but they've got a 1st and 10 from the Chicago 18-yard line. Garoppolo, career high, 289 yards passing. They hand it to Breida, who gets to the 15, still moving his legs inside the 15-yard line. Chicago has all 3 timeouts remaining. 2 for Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. Coming up, State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the State Farm postgame show. Chicago called a timeout here with 1:52 to go. So they have 2 remaining, and the 49ers have 2 remaining.
Most of the time when you are playing the clock game and you're using your timeouts, the one thing that you can't allow the opposing offense to do is to get that first down, because they get another set it down. So for the Chicago Bears, they need to force a field goal before San Francisco has a chance to make a first down, because if they can then bleed that clock all the way out, there's no way Chicago has enough time once they get the ball back.
And now Jimmy Garoppolo has called timeout on the heels of the Chicago timeout.
Now, they were having some issues with some of the substitutions. You saw Garoppolo back out of the huddle because they had 12 in the huddle. Somebody ran off, then somebody's running on. And once again, that communication, we talk about the language barrier. We haven't seen any issues today. So I think that's a smart timeout called by the 49ers right there.
They only have 1 remaining now with 1:52 to go.
If you are the running back in this situation, the extra yards important, but remember, the second, third guys in are going to be tugging at that ball, trying to pop it out of your hand. So really, if you can get down once you get in that pile, get down on the ground.
2nd down and 6. Garoppolo on the run. It's caught by Hyde, who slips down to the ground, and now they're saying it's incomplete.
He went down intentionally. It looked like he was trying to stay in bounds. So that
good job by Hyde.
keeps the clock moving and forces Chicago to think about calling a timeout.
Well, I don't know if he went down intentionally.
No, he gives himself up there.
He gives himself up, but he also slipped to the ground.
Yeah, but he had to do that to get down, because his momentum, he would have gone out of bounds, and the clock would have continued to run.
But he went out of bounds.
Yeah, his foot went out, so I think he was trying to go down inbounds. I'm not sure if the officiating crew should not have given him, because as soon as he gives himself up, he's down, and the clock should have continued to run, which is what he was planning on.
Well, now San Francisco just called its final timeout. But the clock was stopped.
The clock was stopped, and I think it was incorrectly stopped. Because as a player, you are allowed to give yourself up. And when you start to slide, that's when the play is over, not where you end up sliding to. So watch Carlos Hyde. He starts to slide right there. Maybe it's not pretty enough for the officiating to acknowledge that he's trying to slide, but you saw the official step in, waving to stop the clock because his heels touched out of bounds. But I thought that he was making a really, really smart play, trying to keep that clock moving.
All right, 3rd down and 2 from the 10-yard line. Breida, the running back. They hand it to Juszczyk, the fullback, trying to turn those legs. And with his forward progress, it looks like he's going to have a first down. Just the 7th carry this year for Kyle Juszczyk, who's more of a threat in the passing game as a receiver out of the backfield.
Now, they just pointed toward the timeout for San Francisco, though.
Ed Hockley pointed the wrong way. Yeah. It's a first down, and Chicago called a timeout. Ed Hockley pointed to San Francisco. They are without a timeout remaining. But it is a first down. That's the most important thing right here. So Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, with Chicago only having one timeout left, can work this clock down to set up a game-winning field goal attempt for Robbie Gould. It's Hyde inside the 5 to the 3.
Now, when I was coaching, we had a call that we would call freeway. Let the offense score so that we have as much time on the clock once we get the ball back. That was a occasion for a freeway call right there, but all of a sudden Kyle Fuller comes in. He's the roadblock. If you had let the 49ers score on that first play, you would have then had the ball back with maybe a minute 25 after the kickoff.
So if you're San Francisco, would you run it again or just take a knee?
Now you're asking me questions that I tried to answer in my head coaching interviews, and you know I didn't get the job. So you know I'm going to be, if I'm San Francisco, I always take the points. That's the way I let it roll, because then you make the other team make the touchdown winning, game-winning drive.
Chicago cannot stop the clock. They hand it off. Hyde is taken down by Bullard, but the clock will continue to tick.
Unblocked man at the end of the line makes a tackle. That's an easy tackle to make when you're unblocked.
San Francisco has played 5 games this year decided by 8 points or fewer. 0-5 in those games. They're down by 2 here with 3rd and goal from the 5. And former Bear Robbie Gould will have a chance to give San Francisco the lead.
Now you're also in a situation here where you could take a delay of game and kick this on 3rd down.
Here's the knee. So Robbie Gould, who kicked for the Bears for 11 seasons, has the most points and field goals in Chicago franchise history, was released September of 2016, has a chance in his first trip back to Soldier Field to give San Francisco just their 2nd win of the year. A 24-yard field goal attempt for Gould, who's 4 for 4 today. And Gould is good with 4 seconds to go, his 5th field goal of the game. What a return to Chicago for Robbie Gould, who said he was thankful he got released by the Bears because it motivated him to make himself better. Well, Gould is perfect today, 5 for 5. And Jimmy Garoppolo is 4 seconds away from his first win as a San Francisco starting quarterback. And Gould, he was looking towards the Chicago bench after he made that field goal.
But think about that drive that they took over. That was 80-plus yards to get down in field goal range. So Jimmy Garoppolo to operate in a new system, a system that he's been in for now 5 weeks, that's really impressive. And it makes you the most popular guy on the plane on the ride back to San Francisco.
Bonus coverage coming up on CBS. Kansas City and the Jets, a 1-point game in the 4th quarter. You'll see that when we're done here at Soldier Field. Robbie Gould, this is his 83rd game at Soldier Field. First time he's ever kicked 5 field goals here. He's done it on the road, but never in this stadium. Don't forget, State Farm postgame show coming up with our guys back in New York. That's the State Farm postgame show. Now, Tariq Cohen is back deep.
Yeah, Robbie Gould has had 5 great kicks. This better be a squibber kick right here.
It is.
They should toss it back to Tariq Cohen right here.
Cohen's got it. Time has run out. Cohen throws it across field to Jackson. There is a flag down that looked to be a forward pass. Bears keep it alive. Again, it appears that it was a forward pass, and now the ball's out of bounds, and assuming that penalty is on Chicago, that'll be the ball game.
There was an illegal forward pass on the play. That penalty is declined. The game's over.
Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers beat the Bears 15-14.
Here it is. That's supposed to go backwards. It goes forward, but maybe you can't bend it like Beckham and make it go backwards.
Garoppolo, 26 out of 37, a career high 293 yards. As the penalty is called on the Bears. And that'll do it from Soldier Field. 15-14 the final. Coming up next, the State Farm postgame show. For James Lofton, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Chicago, where Garoppolo and the Niners win it 15-14. Let's go to James Brown in New York.